In a devastating turn of events, Kyiv has suffered its largest assault since the start of the conflict, with heavy casualties reported. We'll also cover the tragic aftermath of a cafe bombing in Syria and a significant geopolitical incident in Papua. Here are today's top 10 stories you need to know. Following the twin earthquakes that struck Venezuela's northern coast, the country is grappling with the extensive aftermath. The earthquakes have caused significant destruction, leaving many families displaced and in urgent need of assistance. Rescue efforts are ongoing, with teams working tirelessly to locate survivors and provide humanitarian aid. The situation is dire, as infrastructure has been severely damaged and essential services are disrupted. The government is appealing for international support to aid in recovery efforts. As the nation comes to terms with the scale of the disaster, the resilience of the Venezuelan people is on display, as communities come together to support those affected. However, the road to recovery will be lengthy, and the need for sustained aid and resources will be crucial in the coming weeks and months. Observers are closely monitoring the situation to ensure that aid reaches those who need it most. The European Union's highest court has upheld a record antitrust fine against Google, dismissing the tech giant's appeal against a €4.1 billion penalty. This ruling reinforces the EU's commitment to regulating big tech and ensuring fair competition in the digital marketplace. The case centers on accusations that Google engaged in illegal self-preferencing practices that disadvantaged competitors. The decision has significant implications for Google and the broader technology industry, as it sets a precedent for how antitrust regulations will be enforced in the EU. Analysts predict that this ruling could lead to increased scrutiny of other major tech companies as regulators worldwide look to ensure competitive practices. Google has expressed disappointment in the ruling and indicated plans to explore further legal avenues. As the landscape of digital commerce continues to evolve, this decision marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing battle between tech giants and regulatory authorities. Negotiations between Iran and the United States have come to a temporary halt due to the recent funeral of Iran's slain supreme leader. This pause comes at a crucial time when both sides were reportedly making progress in their discussions. The U.S. and Iran have been engaged in a complex dialogue aimed at addressing long-standing issues, including nuclear agreements and regional security concerns. The funeral is seen as a significant national event in Iran, prompting a week of mourning and reflection. As the negotiations pause, there is uncertainty about how this will affect the progress made thus far. Analysts are concerned that this delay could lead to a resurgence of tensions that have characterized U.S.-Iran relations for decades. Both sides will need to navigate this sensitive period carefully to ensure that the dialogue can resume constructively. Observers are keenly watching to see what steps both nations will take following this temporary disruption. Wildfires are currently raging across Utah and 11 other states in the western United States, driven by high winds and extreme heat. The fires have proven deadly, claiming the lives of 3 firefighters as they battled the flames. The situation is dire, with approximately 79 active fires burning throughout the region, forcing thousands to evacuate their homes and disrupting local communities. Firefighting crews are working around the clock to contain the blazes, but the combination of dry conditions and strong winds has made their efforts incredibly challenging. The environmental impact of these wildfires is significant, with vast areas of forest and wildlife habitat being destroyed. Local officials are urging residents to heed evacuation orders and to prepare for the possibility of prolonged fire activity. As the summer progresses, the risk of wildfires remains high, and experts are emphasizing the need for increased funding and resources to address fire prevention and response strategies. As this situation develops, the focus will also turn to recovery efforts once the fires are contained. In a significant policy shift, the United States has lifted export restrictions on Anthropic's most advanced artificial intelligence models, referred to as Fable and Mythos. This decision comes after extensive negotiations over national security concerns, marking a pivotal moment in the global AI landscape. The lifting of these restrictions is expected to enhance the competitive edge of U.S. AI companies in the international market. However, this move has raised concerns among privacy advocates and international allies regarding the potential implications of advanced AI technologies falling into the wrong hands. The U.S. government has assured that rigorous oversight will accompany the export of these models, emphasizing the importance of responsible AI development. As the technology continues to evolve, the global community will be watching closely to see how this decision impacts AI innovation and regulation across borders. Analysts predict that other nations may follow suit in adjusting their own AI export policies in response to the U.S. move, which could lead to a new era of international competition in artificial intelligence. In a historic and unprecedented move, the Vatican has excommunicated approximately 600,000 followers of the Society of St. Pius X, commonly known as SSPX. This decision comes after members of SSPX defied the Pope's appeals for unity within the Catholic Church. The Pope's decision to excommunicate such a large group underscores the growing tensions between traditionalist factions and the central authority of the Church. The SSPX has long been a controversial group, having been founded in 1970 to oppose certain reforms of the Second Vatican Council. This excommunication is not only a significant religious action, but also a statement about the Church's commitment to maintaining unity and doctrinal integrity. The Vatican's move has sparked widespread debate among theologians and churchgoers alike, with many expressing concern over the potential for further division within the Church. As this situation evolves, it will be critical to observe how both the SSPX and the Vatican navigate this complex landscape of faith and authority. In a miraculous turn of events, a 44-year-old security guard has been rescued from the rubble in La Guaira, Venezuela, after surviving 8 harrowing days trapped beneath debris following twin earthquakes that devastated the northern coast. Rescuers found the man alive, a beacon of hope amidst a tragedy that has claimed many lives. The earthquakes, which struck just over a week ago, have caused widespread destruction, leaving many individuals in desperate need of aid and assistance. Rescue efforts have been ongoing, with teams working tirelessly to locate survivors and provide support to those affected. The survival of the security guard has invigorated the community, inspiring hope that others may still be found alive. However, the scale of the devastation is staggering, and the recovery process will take considerable time and resources. As the country grapples with the aftermath of these natural disasters, the international community is being urged to step in with humanitarian aid and support for rebuilding efforts. The situation serves as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit in the face of disaster. A horrific bombing in the heart of Damascus has left at least 5 people dead and 16 others injured. The explosive device detonated in a crowded cafe, a place typically filled with families and friends enjoying their time together. This attack is a stark reminder of the ongoing violence that has plagued Syria for over a decade. The Syrian government's response has been swift, with officials condemning the attack and promising to bring those responsible to justice. However, the reality on the ground remains dire, as civilians continue to face the threat of violence in their everyday lives. The ongoing conflict has resulted in countless casualties, and this latest incident only adds to the growing list of tragedies. As the situation in Syria continues to deteriorate, the need for a comprehensive peace process becomes ever more urgent. International observers are now calling for renewed efforts to address the root causes of the conflict and to ensure the safety of civilians in affected areas. In a shocking act of violence, separatists in Papua have killed an American pilot, marking a significant escalation in an already volatile region. The pilot, who was transporting Indonesian troops into a conflict zone, was shot dead, and the rebels subsequently burned the aircraft. This act is being interpreted as a clear message to both Indonesia and the United States regarding the ongoing separatist struggle in the region. Papua has long been a site of tension, with indigenous groups fighting for independence from Indonesian rule, which they view as oppressive. The U.S. government has historically supported Indonesia, primarily due to strategic interests in Southeast Asia. The assassination of the American pilot adds a complex layer to this relationship, prompting Washington to reassess its operations in Papua. The geopolitical implications of this incident are profound, as it raises questions about U.S. BAF, military cooperation, and the safety of American personnel in conflict zones. As the situation unfolds, it is crucial for both the Indonesian government and international stakeholders to address the underlying issues contributing to the unrest in Papua. Moving forward, the U.S. must carefully navigate its foreign policy to balance support for Indonesia with the need to advocate for human rights and stability in Papua. In a grim escalation of the ongoing war, Russia launched its most extensive and deadly airstrike on Kyiv to date. The attack lasted for an astonishing 11 hours, resulting in the tragic loss of at least 21 lives and injuring more than 85 individuals. This unprecedented strike has sent shockwaves throughout the international community, prompting urgent responses from Ukraine's government. President Volodymyr Zelensky has made a desperate appeal for faster military support from Western allies, stressing the need for advanced weaponry to counter the relentless assaults. The scale of this attack underscores the severe humanitarian crisis that continues to unfold in Ukraine, with civilians bearing the brunt of the violence. Many have been forced to flee their homes in search of safety, exacerbating the already dire situation in refugee camps. The international community remains on high alert, as this escalation could further complicate diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict. The attack not only highlights the brutality of the ongoing war, but also raises concerns about potential retaliatory measures from Ukraine. Analysts suggest that increased military aid from Western nations may be imminent, as the urgency of the situation becomes more apparent. As the conflict continues to evolve, the focus will be on how effectively Ukraine can mobilize international support to deter further aggression from Russia. Thank you for watching today's top stories. Which story impacted you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.